tackle everyday issues in love, life, and business to become the greatest version of ourselves and spark greatness to have the lives we've always imagined. This special episode is a Black Woman Magic spotlight on a Black business owner, Queendom Cultivation, and Jazmine Mincey. In this snippet, we pulled some of the juiciest, most relevant, most important, ultimate self-care and entrepreneurial details from a long conversation when we sat down with Jazmine. Enjoy the clips, take away the gems, but most importantly, make sure to tune in to Queendom Cultivation. Go check out Jazmine and see everything that she has going on. Listen to this episode, and we hope that you'll learn a little bit more about a Black woman working her magic every single day.
I believe in it. And so the big self-talk is what gets you through to that next step in your journey. Because a lot of people and a lot of entrepreneurs are visionaries, and we have to be. And a lot of people are not visionary. And so if they can't see it, they can't believe it. But you see it. So you have to believe in your next step. And it's always the visionaries that open the eyes of others. When I started with crystal healing, before I met my partner, I didn't know anything about crystals. I was raised Southern Baptist. My mama didn't know nothing about crystals. My sisters didn't. My family didn't. Crystals, what you do? Them rocks? What you doing with that? No. I started this movement of Queendom Cultivation with only the belief in my partner, from my partner and from myself. And that's huge. And he didn't even see where I was going to take it. He didn't know that this is where it would be. But because I saw the vision and I stayed true to my vision, I was able to manifest that beyond what I could even imagine. So that self-talk is huge. We have to big up ourselves. We have to keep it pushing for ourselves. Because if we don't, then we're doing a disservice to so many people that won't ever be able to see, because we didn't believe in ourselves enough to make it happen.
Girl, y'all don't know. I'll probably say this again too. Y'all don't know because you really don't, like, because real life is nothing like real life. So even if you know Jazz, y'all still probably really don't know unless you've been there. Like, I've been there. I've been in the spot. I've been at the lab. I've been in public with her and him together. And I can remember when, like, she was this like avid, like, crystal pusher, healer, Black soul sister naturalist, and he's always been like a natural, like, you know, Raheem Devon type brother. Like, you could feel the natural vibes all on him. But he also had, like, rap was very prevalent. He was very into his music. He was introverted. He didn't necessarily talk about crystals. So you were like, okay, she does this, but that's not what they do. And now you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't, like, he's come full circle with so many things that I think were already in the works for him. But what you said about when you were like, it has to be yourself. You can't be sitting there saying, okay, you're my partner, so give us this us talk for my vision. Like, give us, where's that us speech, babe? So tell us.
And there are times when I need that too, though. Because there are times when, you know, we hit those challenges, those roadblocks, and it's like, damn, this is harder than I signed up for, or I didn't realize this was going to happen. Like, I need that reminder that's like, but you know, everything you touch turns to gold, so keep going. Like, I need that.
I have two questions. You now that I want to know about. Two things. One is, how do you practice it for yourself? But also, what are some things that men and women can be looking out for so we can pick a partner who will eventually learn how to give us that us talk that we need? Because, like, maybe he didn't know initially to give that to you, but you had to have seen something that was like, all right, spill the beans.
Oh man, I talk this way to myself. I'm gonna answer your first question first. I use self-talk every day. I have to encourage myself to keep going, no matter how high I get up this mountain, right? I'm still going to have to reassure myself that even if I have a hiccup or a setback, it's only for that moment. It's not a determining factor of my future. And so I have to remember that. And it doesn't, like, my past doesn't define me. These things that have happened before, they don't define where we go. So always keep it pushing forward. And then finding a partner, I think, I mean, people ain't gonna like me for this because
That's okay. I'm not here for
when,
friends.
when it came to dating Sharik and getting to know him and really understand him as a person, he was absolutely like probably 2 out of 6 or 7 things on my checklist. Okay.
Okay.
And
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that?
Yeah. And I got to know him. And that's our first year of our relationship was long distance. So we didn't have that, like, that rushing into it. We really got to know each other. And so I lived in California, he was in Arizona, and we would talk just every day. We would talk about each other's days. We would get to learn each other more in our backgrounds. And yeah, he didn't have all the things on my checklist, like physically, materially, right? But spiritually, I felt a connection to him that I hadn't felt to anybody else. And I was looking for that at the time. And dating in the Bay Area seemed to be like, ooh, it was a, yeah. There wasn't much. And what I was finding was just nothing. It was superficial. You know, the apps and the like meet and greets, and it's real superficial. And I was able to build on depth there with that distance. And then in that year, we were able to plan where we wanted to go together. And then the rest is the rest. It'll be 7 years in February.
Now, y'all heard that 7 is the number of completion. They work, live, and love together. And this started from long distance, no fun touching, okay? Because you can't touch from a distance, okay? Constant communication, and not even half of a checklist. I'm not saying that it's our fault if we are single and don't want to be, or if we are not single and wish we were, but I'm just saying, stay tuned. We're going to be talking a lot more about the love part of love, life, and business this season, because y'all tripping. We cannot continue to make excuses for why we don't have the types of interpersonal relationships that we want. And Jazmine is proof of that, right? And so thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing a little bit of the deets. I have one more piggyback question. I'm gonna have to have her for our love episode. Have both of them on.
Yeah, because there's so much to say on that too. I get really sad about how I see the state of like relationships these days and what people are looking for and what they're finding and who they're settling with. And I'm just like, ooh.
So when I have my episode, you guys, it's coming up. It's when you hear these conversations, if you've heard some of the conversations that I aired previously and you're still mad at me, I did it for Jazz. I did it because she said, it's not my fault. She said, I'm doing public service to help us. Girl, because they always want to blame me. Nobody likes me, but I don't care. So I want to know, last question on the specific topic of love and self-talk and entrepreneurship. When we are considering our next level self, our next ideal level of business, how do you think we should be factoring in this whole love aspect? Some people say, oh, if it happens, it happens. Other people say, love first and then business next. Where do you fall with
that? I'm from the school of thought of grow together.
That's why she my friend, y'all.
Move to that level together. I think at the root of it, you have to be with someone you enjoy. Like, if you don't enjoy this person, but financially they got everything that you think you might be looking for, then okay, but you miserable. You could grow together. Like, I'm a firm believer in that. I would not want to be where I am today with somebody I can't stand. Okay, and this man that I'm with, I work with him, I sleep with him, I see him every day, in every moment of every day, and I don't get tired of being around him. Like, I genuinely enjoy his presence. And I explain this to people all the time because they're like, isn't that hard? I'm like, not if you like the person. Like, I don't just love the man, I like the man. And that's what's made this really easy to do. And I'm glad that I didn't listen to everybody else, but I focused on my own self-talk, bringing it back full circle. I focused on the self-talk for me that said, okay, this, they might not get it, but you see that this is worth it. And had it not been for him, I would not have been introduced to this path, my purpose that I'm on, and have been able to heal so many people from a place of love and not loneliness or bitterness. I'm able to accept it because I'm receiving love every day. So I'm able to give it.
Because your cup is full. As we like to say here in the tribe, y'all don't let me down, act like you know. You should not be pouring from the middle. You should not be pouring from the top. You should only be dishing what? Off the overflow. That's whatever, hello, that's whatever is too much to fit in your cup. You should be so full of yourself that you cannot contain it. And you got no choice but to just spill out onto the world all of that greatness. And this is what Jazmine does. But I heard you say something very critical, Jazz. You said, if it wasn't for me focusing on my self-talk, I wouldn't have been in a position to even be able to get to know him. And I love that you said that, because I want to dig into something. A lot of times when we're addressing this topic, and I'm going to address it from the lens as a Black heterosexual woman, because that's my reality. So y'all just stay with me. If that's not you, y'all know it's still going to apply. Don't trip. But we address things in a way that kind of leads to the conversation of self-talk being largely around our capabilities, how we're more worthy than what we're acknowledged for, you know, the whole I'm a boss factor, I can do anything factor. And I love those motivational aspects of self-talk, but I also love the accountable aspects of self-talk. So can you do us some grace, a favor, and give us some kind of key conversations that you feel Black women in business, and it can veer to people overall, but definitely talking to, you know, sister to sister, because sometimes we need to just be upfront, like, sis, this is what's keeping you from growing, right? So what are some constant conversations that we need to be having as women within ourselves that get us to that Jazmine point of light, where you were like together enough to have a partnership and build a business?
I think the first question should be, what am I afraid of? It's going to take those shadows. It's going to take actually doing some of that shadow work to get to the root of whatever is holding you back. Because most of the time we use self-talk as a means to get past something. We should be affirming ourselves daily, whether we're going through something or not. We should be doing it daily, but a lot of times we use it to get over challenges, and a lot of challenges are self-imposed restrictions that we put on ourselves. And so what are we afraid of? What is it that we're thinking will happen? What's the worst thing that we're convincing ourselves is going to happen if we take the next step, or if it doesn't turn out the way that we want it to be, or if we, God forbid, fail in something? And I don't really see failure as failure. Failure is an opportunity to do something differently. And so it's a lesson to be learned. And I find that even with my clients, even with my friends, fear is always at the root of everything that we feel like we're challenged with. I can't reach new audiences. Well, are you putting yourself out in new spaces? No, I'm not, because I'm afraid they won't see me as a reflection of my brand, or I don't look the way I want to look, so I don't want to show my face in public. I don't want to be on camera. Well, Reels, TikTok, that's the way people are growing in 2022. We got to be out there. Well, I don't feel comfortable. Well, you have to get comfortable, or you have to find a way around it. You have to either learn how to be flexible and pivot, find another face of your brand. Oh, well, I don't want to lose like my brand, control over my brand. Well, now the problem is control. Why are we afraid of losing control? Right? It's fear.
That you don't have anyway.
Right. So ain't nobody in control of nothing.
You afraid of something you never gonna have.
Listen, if they closed down, if we had another shutdown or something like that, we would see just how little control we have over everything. Okay, we don't control anything. Yes. So It's that conversation that I have with myself all the time. What am I afraid of? What's the worst that will happen? Is there a solution around that worst? Or is that the end all be all? No, it's not. Okay, let's move around it then.
Yeah.
Girl, you got this. We always get past it. Right? So that's the self-talk that I need. I'm like, whatever it has been, I've always gotten past it. Whatever it will be, I will always get past it.
Like nothing can stop me but me. And I think your
Exactly.
approach to that is so not only is it genuine, but it's also something that I have a personal, like, I guess, bone to pick, because I feel like I'm always yelling that part of the conversation and I'm not getting the response that I want. And so for me, a big growth spurt has been learning to just get around more of the women who have that conversation, even if they're in places that I'm not used to going, which has conversely led me down a path where I'm engaging a lot more in a lot of the things that you were doing initially when I first saw you building your brand, right? Like, I watched you wrap crystals. You taught me how to wrap crystals. Like, I learned from watching you, right? And so now they go in my self-care kits, right? You buy a book, you get a self-care kit, you're gonna get some crystals. Like, these things that we learn from being honest with ourselves. But I had to have that conversation, like, well, what are you afraid of as far as like your ideologies or developing yourself? What are you ashamed to show the world? Where are you not wanting to build this brand or business because of fear or imagery? You know, and the fact that so much of the conversation around self-care right now refers to outwardly care can sometimes make it daunting to talk about these types of things. And that's really part of why I wanted to have you on today, because it's like a breaking point, and we've got to, damn it, either be bold and shout it from the mountaintops or start passing the mic out to women who gonna yell with you. And if you yelling, you're gonna lose your voice if you're the only one shouting. So get with some other people who will spread the message about the need for internal accountability. And what you touched on was so priceless, like these self-imposed restrictions that we place on ourselves by not being willing to have that part of the conversation out of fear for like how you're going to turn out or what's the worst that could happen, right? Give me a little bit of, and we'll get into some of the hardships and things that you've overcome in a little bit, but it's easy to say, well, like, have these tough conversations. This is how you need to be addressing yourself, sis. Get in the mirror, do some naked therapy, be accountable to your internal growth and well-being. But the reality is that's not easy, right? When we ask these questions, how important is it to have that balance of like being accountable, but also kind of like smoothing ourselves through this? Because you're gonna fall out when you start asking this stuff here. And for some of us, it's gonna be a long fallout. How do you manage that and not give up till it becomes normal for you and I? We do this all the time. But how do you get from that point of like, I'm doing it because I have to get past something and I can no longer fight it because now I'm going to explode, to the point of that last time was the last time. And now I'm going to create some consistency with my regimen so I don't end up this woman over and over again.
It's not as though society isn't hard enough as being Black women. Okay, so we don't need to also be the ones to beat ourselves up. All right, it's not a point. It's not from a place of anger or resentment or disappointment or regret that I even have these conversations with myself. It's from a place of love and care, and we have to face these things. We cannot have the light without the dark. So a good method to do would be to just sandwich it in. Say something positive about yourself. Let's affirm ourselves. And then say, okay, and we know this about ourselves, and we also have to work on this too. All right, you got that, sis? Okay, good. We're gonna work on it. You got it, girl. And then say, okay, you're beautiful. Thank you for still being present in this body. Thank you for allowing us to move forward and be able to work through those challenges and stuff. So it's always about that gentle, loving on the other side, on each side of the sandwich of the realness. And so it's not that we're trying to hurt ourselves, not that we're trying to even be too real or downplay ourselves or our greatness, but we have to in order to become the best version of ourselves, we have to have those conversations with ourselves. Because if we just feel as though we're perfect, we'll never get better.
That's right. So again, y'all, it's not my fault. I'm totally following all of the social, therapeutic, and philosophical proof that's been provided before me by greats like Jazmine. So when we say you have to mix the love with the lessons, it's true, y'all. You can't get to your best without facing the things that have fouled you up. And you also can't get to your best without facing the things that keep you following through, facing the good parts of you, the stuff that survived, the stuff that's worth it. And so one of my sayings is get your shift right. I put that F in there because we all take a few F's in life, but all you got to do is get to the T, and you'll keep it pushing. Now you leave that F out and it's gonna hit the fan. I'm gonna let you figure that out. Get your shift right, because there's always a better direction, a better you, a better road to get to really live and walk in your purpose. And so Jazmine has given me a gem right now. I wrote it as soon as I got it. Keep your AAA. Get your shift right, but keep your AAA. Affirm, accept, and affirm every day. Affirm yourself, accept where you need to grow by calling it out, and then affirm yourself again. Use the sandwich method that she has given us to keep yourself consistent once you get off that roller coaster of kind of getting trapped back into mindsets that you want to escape, and improving your self-talk for good. Because the truth is that the better you is what's required for the better results. And whoever shows up to do the work is who's going to get the job done. So okay. we gotta invest in ourselves. And speaking of that, it's definitely part talk, but I think there's some things that we can do, right, across the board as people. But again, keeping it melanated and intact with the divine feminine. I really feel like it's a time where that enlightenment is just so dearly needed. And so I'm going to call it out relative to Indigenous women, women of color, Black women in particular. What are some things that we can wear, smell, eat? How do these things, like the things that we eat, smell, and wear, affect the way that we talk to ourselves? Tell us how that external conversation is playing out internally. Because a lot of us, we and I'm not knocking the lashes, and I'm not knocking going shopping, but I'm just saying it does have an impact on how we talk to ourselves, but it may not be the kind of impact that some of y'all have thought. So let's get into that part of the game. What you think, Jazz?
So I'm a proponent of luxury. I'm a Taurus, so I'm gonna spend on myself, but I can't use that as a way to neglect the things I have to do internally as well. So we got to balance it out. But it's interesting that you talk about like the negative self-talk and how the things around us play into how we communicate with ourselves. Because if you know anything about the chakra systems, right? Your throat chakra is your fifth chakra in your chakra system. There's 7. And your throat chakra serves as a filter between your environment and your higher self. And so it's the first of our higher chakras that connect us deeper to spirit. But how you surround yourself, who you surround yourself with, what you're playing around you, what you're eating, what you're doing, what you're seeing, that's all filtered through how you communicate. And so you'll start to express things negatively if you're in a toxic environment to other people and to yourself. You'll start to express things positively and from a more healed perspective, the more you surround yourself with healing. It shows through our communication. So you can see how someone communicates with you or with other people, exactly what they're going through and what kind of life they're living. Because a healed person is not going to react from a place of hate, is not going to speak from a place of anger. They're going to filter through their healed throat chakra and communicate that with themselves and everyone around them. And it's clear when it's not healed. That's all I'm gonna say. So operate as though you're healed, okay? Operate as though that throat is in balance and you live in a good, healthy environment, because we can tell when you're not.
And she gonna put that on there for y'all, just so y'all knew she had way more to say, but that she know y'all ain't ready, and that's all I'm gonna say. And that's
That's
all
all I'm gonna
I felt it. I felt it. That was like a Stephen A. That was like a Stephen A. comment. Like, I don't know if you watch sports at all, but he's Mr. ESPN for sports. And that was just like, you have become like the guru in that moment. That's all I'm gonna say. All of us wellness workers, I'm just telling y'all, use that before she trademarks it, because that right there was for all of us. We know if we do this work wholeheartedly, we know that that's all I'm gonna say. That was like, y'all ain't
like
ready.
there's more, but I'm gonna let you, I need you to digest this part first.
You don't even get this part. Oh my gosh, if y'all only knew, just get you some crystals and get there. Just get you some crystals and get there. But no, seriously. You hit on something that I'm not going to drag people farther than where they can follow. I'll drag y'all a little bit. It's my show, and it's too powerful, sisters. Just get dragged for a second. You said that healed people basically act as such. And that's kind of like one of the first places that we have to start. For me, it definitely was. I couldn't digest the idea of how to become a better me, or even what that looked like, until I was ready to have some like internal talk. Like, what's your truth outside of what your family taught you, right? So tell us, Jazz, how critical is self-talk for entrepreneurs, especially the ones who are of color and who want to like impact change or do something positive?
Absolutely. A lot of times, especially when you're just starting on your entrepreneurship journey, you're going to be the only person that sees your vision as clear as you want it to be manifested. And so you might share it with other people. You might express your thoughts around it with other people who are not in alignment with your vision at that time. And I say at that time because down the line, they will be. And if they don't matter. But in those moments, you have to remember that your vision is your own. And so you have to hype yourself up. You have to dap yourself up. You are the one who is going to create, who is going to move these mountains, who is going to allow this to just unfold so naturally and so as you manifest it. And so everyone's not going to see it that way. So you have to be the one that says, okay, we're going to do it regardless. Because there are times when, we hit those challenges, those roadblocks, and it's like, damn, this harder than I signed up for, or I didn't realize this was going to happen. Like, I need that reminder that's like, but everything you touch turns to gold, so keep going. Like, I need that. Him as a person, he was absolutely like probably 2 out of 6 or 7 things on my checklist. Okay. And
Y'all hear that?
Yeah. And I got to know him. And that's our first year of our relationship was long distance. So we didn't have that rushing into it. We really got to know each other. I'm from the school of thought of grow together.
That's why she my friend, y'all.
Move to that level together. I think at the root of it, you have to be with someone you enjoy. Like, if you don't enjoy this person, but financially they got everything that you think you might be looking for, then okay, but you miserable. You could grow together. Healed perspective, the more you surround yourself with healing, it shows through our communication. So you can see how someone communicates with you or with other people, exactly what they're going through and what kind of life they're living. Because a healed person is not going to react from a place of hate, is not going to speak from a place of anger. They're going to filter through their healed throat chakra and communicate that with themselves and everyone around them. And it's clear when it's not healed. That's all I'm gonna say. So operate as though you're healed, okay? Operate as though that throat is in balance and you live in a good, healthy environment, because we can tell when you're not.
Oh, Jazz, give us a scoop. Let us know all of the places where we can find you, see you, engage in you, and all things Queendom Cultivation. Let us know the next and best place to be so that we can stay tuned with what you got going on, Queen.
You can find us first and foremost in person at 8450 West Sahara Avenue, Suite 109 in Las Vegas, Nevada. That is our retail shop location. You can find our website on queendomcultivation.com. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Queendom Cultivation. We are also on TikTok and on Twitter, so all over the socials.
All over all of the socials. That means there is no opportunity for you to be left unless you are somewhere hiding up under a rock. But if you were, then you really need to be at Queendom Cultivation. Tell us some of the amazing things, speaking of rocks and gems and things of such, that we will find when we peruse the gallery or come and visit you in the store.
If you come and visit us, you can get a crystal light therapy session. We offer that in person. You can lay on our crystal light bed and allow your energy to be cleansed and just removed of stagnant energy debris. You can also get Reiki in person from myself, my partner Sharik, my friend Jackie, any other community healer that's offering Reiki within our space. You can also, we do a lot of things. You can use our event space to host any of your books if you have or any of your events if you wanted to host a book signing, for example, or if you wanted to have a party, or if you wanted to have a girls gathering or a business brunch, you can use our event space for that. Or you can peruse our selection of over 150 different types of crystals from all over the world, read through our book library, check out our herb selection, just take your time and find what's being called to you.
And I really love that. Take your time and find what's being called to you. And one of the things that I really love about your brand and business is that you were called to this work. I really feel like when I talk with you, when I'm in your presence, when I utilize your products. So yes, you guys, this is brand to brand supported. I've experienced her aura, her products, her magic, her intellect, and across the board, Jazz is someone who I consider to be very genuine to this work. And so tell me from your perspective, what is the Queendom differential? Let us know a little bit of insight about why you and not maybe someone else.
The Queendom differential is the customer service. It's the attention to every detail. It's the listening. It is the conversations that you'll get. It is the love that we pour into you. Every one of my team members is on my team because they truly understand the vision and the importance of community in our space. So Queendom Cultivation isn't like everywhere else, because here you will receive community, you'll receive love, you'll receive service. We believe in truly allowing you to experience a good time. And if you're a beginner or if you're an expert in this crystal healing journey or wherever you are in your spiritual journey, we're going to give you the same amount of love, respect, and attention.
I love that. I love that. And I assume also that we get a little bit of you by being able to take part in coming into the store and being clients of some of the services. Am I understanding that right? Like you will be in the mix?
I mean, I very well could be. You could come to a wire wrapping class with me every other Wednesday. You could do one of my wrap and roll workshops. We do a lot of cannabis infused events. If you wanted to get a sound healing session or book a one-on-one private sound healing, you could do that with me as well. And we also offer an event called High Vibration. So give you a little bit of herb, play the bowls, allow you to completely rest and relax. And that's what me and Sharik, we lead that. So it's love just infused into every single thing inside of our space.
Love is my favorite four-letter word. And that's one of the things that I love about you is that I know that the love is present each and every time and that it's genuine, it's authentic, and it runs strong. It runs strong and it runs deep. And that can be very pacifying and empowering, but also very freeing. So I do encourage you guys, like wherever you can find them that works for you, these different ways to take advantage of opportunities. I mean, maybe you might want to take Vegas on in a whole new light, right? You can do Vegas, do spirituality, do culture, do you, and do Bay and Boo, which could be the two or the three of y'all, depending on your dynamic, and take yourselves, hello, somebody, we all about it on this show. Hello, somebody, take yourself or yourselves over to Queendom Cultivation. But I also want you guys to know that there are some other ways that you can connect with Jazz if you are not necessarily in Vegas, or if you've already gone to Vegas, you've seen it in the store, you've shopped, you've been to a Reiki healing, you've gone to some higher learning or higher experiences, you've gotten all the things, right? But maybe now you're a person who is a fellow podcaster, business person, or someone else who's into having these kinds of intellectual, introspective, and just forward moving conversations that I think we all are ready to have. I think we all tired of being tired of the conversations out there. And so if you are somebody who's invigorated by doing the opposite of being tired and being forward moving and really wanting to sit down and talk with Jazz or Sharik and have more of these one-on-one or duo couple convos, Jazz, tell us, how can we find you? How can we find you and Sharik the duo? Because I noticed that you guys are doing way more things together, which I really love. So if someone or entities, albeit, are interested in having more of these kinds of conversations, similar or different from what we've had, how can they find you and utilize opportunities to connect that way?
You can find us at That Crystal Couple on Instagram if you wanted to have a sit down with the two of us. Otherwise, if you just wanted to have a sit down with me, you can reach out to my assistant and she will put you on the calendar. And that is at queendomassistant@gmail.com.
Hello, somebody. Y'all better know about it. Queendom Assistant. And one of the things I'm going to do when I get me an assistant is I'm going to make sure that they help me put all my applications, all my apps, my phones, and everything on airplane mode. So this is one of the things that we have to look forward to as we grow. And Jazz and I have been talking. We talked a lot, and we'll be talking some more. Y'all may or may not be privy to the conversations. We'll decide. It depends on how y'all act. But we've been talking a lot about opportunities to really hone in on how we can grow as business people, on how we can learn from each other, particularly as women of color in business and creatives who strive to be our best self. And one of the things that we talked about a lot, Jazz, was the jazz with the self-talk. So tell us, what's all that jazz with the self-talk? Give us in 1 to 2 minutes your full scoop about what self-talk means and why it's so critical.
Self-talk is so important because you have to be the one to hype you up. At the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, all you're going to have is you. First and foremost, make sure that you are speaking love into yourself. You're affirming joy into yourself. You're speaking that vision that you see and only you can see right now. You're speaking that up. You're bigging that up because you know that that is going to turn into something incredible as you see it. So self-talk is so important because it's going to allow us to really focus on the vision, the dream. It's going to allow us to expand fully into our better selves, our highest selves, our best selves. So self-talk is everything. You cannot limit yourself to negative thinking, limiting self-beliefs. You have to allow yourself to grow and expand. And by doing that, by speaking to yourself, by speaking that love and that affirmation to yourself, you'll truly be able to design your life in the way that you see it. And I can't wait for you to do that.
Hello, y'all. So you are getting the word. First and foremost, Jazz is rooting for you. If you think that you're somebody who's overcome the odds, if you're somebody who's steady focusing on becoming your best self, if you've put yourself out there and you feel as though you need a champion, you need a supporter, you need an advocate, you need an accountability partner, right? First and foremost, she and I are here to tell you that we want you to show up and be that for you. Right? We want you to show up and talk that talk, walk that walk. We want you to speak life into yourself. But second of all, I wanted y'all to get to know my sister girl because you have advocacy, right? It's far greater than what we could even imagine in terms of support and power and mindset and love. And she is another sister walking in that same vein of power, support, and mindset and love, who is here with me in the camaraderie of saying, we got you. Like, we are here for you and we want the best for you. And a big part of that is how you talk to yourself. And so one of my favorite things to do is, well, to play games, because I feel like it's good, good for your personal energy. But one of my other favorite things to do is wellness. And so I like to put the two together, especially when I have wellness pros like Jazz, and see if we could play a quick impromptu game. You down for a quick impromptu game with me, Jazz?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool. And then I'll go first just so I don't get to sit and have the benefit of thinking since I'm also the host. So I want to just play a quick game of 10 easy things, right? And in this instance, we're going to do 10 easy things that let you know you're waking up on the right side. So 10 mood words, key phrases, one word, one-liners, whatever it is, just 10 easy things of how you like to wake up or that let you know you're waking up on the right side of things. You got the jazz with the self-talk and you are moving in the vein of self-love and awareness and accountability so you can bring your best you to the table. All right, I had enough time to think, and I'm going to do my 10 quick things and go. Gratefulness, thoughtfulness, joy, compassion, patience, horniness, fun, laughter, quirkiness, and vulnerability.
Okay.
These are 10 of my easy ways to wake up that will let me know I'm going to have a great day all day long. And yes, I said some that may or may not be risque, but hey, I'm telling you, it makes for a well-rounded balance of a
well-rounded balance.
And I be in a good space, let me tell y'all. So, with that being said, Jazz, the gym doula, the goddess doula, the woman of so many facets, give us your 10 easy things, best ways to wake up, and go.
Smile, thoughtfulness, gratitude, intentionality, organization, cleanliness, joy, fun, love, passion, and creativity.
Yes. And together now you have, without us even thinking about it, you got almost to the you 5 off from the top 25 ways to wake up. You can see great minds think alike. The things that I didn't say, she actually said, and she didn't say the things I said because she was being so genuine and vulnerable in this contest. And I noticed that, but we still did it. And that lets you know, this is a lifestyle, y'all, that's meant to live. And everybody can have it. Everybody can live it. It is designed for you. Self-care, wellness, and thriving and flourishing in your best self is a lifestyle that you can have. We welcome you to join us. And so if you're somebody who has gotten this far and you're wondering, well, I just need one little word, I just need one little to keep me going, we're going to see if Jazz can give us just a couple of closing, thoughtful, motivational words in terms of like what to do to keep pursuing being your best and just to support the person out there who's watching this who may not be where you and I are, Jazz, but who's definitely saying, you know, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get to my next milestone. I'm going to get to my best self. I'm going to figure out this whole self-care mindset regimen so I can continue to move forward and get off of this working wheel that we know doesn't really work, right? Mm-hmm. And so if there was anything that you would impart to the person who's looking to be their next best self and create milestones and opportunities to keep growing, what would you say?
Listen to spirit, not ego. If you know, you know. If you don't know, it's to you to work out, okay? But listen to your spirit. It's never going to lead you wrong.
And that is that on that. If you have not caught the podcast, if you have not got the full conversation, if you have not seen us before, now's a great time to catch in because we got the juice. Gems like this drop for us each and every single day. When was the last time you took the time to really capture the treasures right in front of you that people are placing around you so that you can intentionally have the life that you haven't even finished working for yet? Pick up some of these gems, grab some of these jewels, live like the treasure that you are, and invite your next best self into this life because that is who deserves the rewards of all this hard work that you put in. Y'all, make sure in the meantime and in between time, go see Queendom Cultivation, check out the store, visit her online, have an experience, engage in any of the social platforms, and find them everywhere where people are connecting. Get connected, connect yourself to others who are quality people. Love yourself. Be well. Until next time.